So the last pick, it was the 255th pick. They call it Mr. Irrelevant because like nobody watches to the very last pick of the draft, and it wasn't me. And at that moment, my heart dropped.
Hey, welcome back to our channel.
So we're gonna talk about the NFL draft process that we went through because the draft is going on right now, and I've seen a lot of videos or people who talk about the perspective of being drafted. I wasn't drafted, so we're going to give you guys a different kind of view of what it was like for us and how stressful it was and what teams kind of tell you during their process. So to kick it off, I went to Weber State, small FCS school in Utah, so that alone made it harder for me to go to the NFL and to see scouts. So let's just fast forward. I do my 4 years there.
So you went to a small school, and if you go to a small school, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's harder to get drafted.
Like, I think I'm just going to go off this year alone. I think we just finished up the first 3 rounds, and from the FCS level, we have, I think, 1, maybe 2 guys picked, and it's been 103 picks or something like that. So it's not likely. Like, it's hard, very, very hard, but possible. So fast forward, I do my 4 years at Weber. I do pretty good, all conference, all Americans, all that good stuff. So I didn't get invited to a bowl game right after my senior year. So I made a highlight tape, and I would send it out to all the scouts for the bowl game. So it's 3 bowl games. It's the Reese's Senior Bowl, which is the top one, then the East-West Shrine game, which is the second tier, I guess, and then the NFLPA game, which is the third one. And that's the one I got into. So I sent my highlight tape to everyone. Like every day I was sending it to different scouts for the different bowl games. Like, hey man, just check it out. Like,
because right now he didn't have an agent.
Right, I didn't have an agent either at this time. I was talking to a guy, won't say his name, and he liked me when we went out. We met him, went out and like talked to him in person, and he told me like, oh well.
Basically, he just didn't have enough faith in Trey.
Right. He just kind of felt like, well, he might get a chance. He might not. I don't want to invest too much into him.
Yeah, I'll be your agent, but I'm not going to pay for anything.
Right. And
so basically thinking, like, I don't want to invest money if you're not going to land on a team.
Exactly. So, and that alone was like, well, I don't have no money right now. I need you to help me pay for the training. Like, I'm a broke college student with a kid. Like, I really can't pay for nothing.
So he sent out his highlight tape to a bunch of people, including like the scouts who pick people to be in the bowl games. Right.
So like, I wish I could show you my guy's Twitter DM. I probably can post it on here, but yeah, like every day I was sending it to this guy, and I sent it to this guy. His name is Josh, and he got back to me. He works for an NFLPA game, or used to. And he got back to me, and he was like, "I love your tape. We have limited spots, but I'm going to see if I can get you one." And that's all I needed. So I sent it to him again the next day, and the next day, and then finally I got the email that said, hey, you've been accepted to the NFLPA game, register and do all that good stuff. So I'm ecstatic, I'm happy. I called my mom, I called my dad, I called Mike, like, hey, I just got invited to the bowl game. Because I went to small school, so it don't happen that often. Like, so I think out of my senior class, I was the only one to get invited to a bowl game, you know, so it's a big deal. And I did all this without an agent. No agent yet, because no one wanted to sign and take a chance on a small school guy. So I went to the NFLPA game, and it was played in California, here in
Carson.
Carson is where the game was played at the Chargers Stadium.
Before the Chargers
had played there. Like, it was
the new, like the soccer stadium that the Chargers are playing at right now.
They're playing at right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're playing at was where the game was held. And so, and during the whole, like, that week, you talk to the teams, like, you have a period, like, after practice or after meetings where a team is going to come talk to you. And I probably talked to, like, 15 teams there, and the Chargers were one of the teams.
And Arizona was really liking it.
Arizona really
That's when they first talked to Trey. Like, I think that week they were the most obvious ones. Like, we really, really like you. And I remember him texting me being like, oh, like the Cardinals really like me picturing like what it would be like to go to the Cardinals. Like, oh, I would like to go to Arizona. Arizona seems cool. We obviously would be excited to go anywhere. Right. But I was like, I'd rather live in Arizona than like Tennessee or something. Right.
And Tennessee really liked me too.
But where I was like, what would be really cool would be to go to the Chargers or the Rams. Is who I was like, I would love to live in LA.
And
so, especially when we went out, I flew out to the game with my family, our daughter and my parents and his parents and
my grandma. A lot of people came out to the game.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember being out there and picturing like this would be really cool if he played here. Then, ta-da.
Yeah, it's crazy that I played my bowl game in Carson at the stadium. That now I'm playing with the Chargers at. So that was just
really
kind of
cool.
crazy to think. So I go to the NFLPA game. It's against all the big schools, all the Power 5, Ohio States and all that good stuff. I do really good. I got named after the game like 5 players to watch in the upcoming draft or whatnot.
So once he got invited to the NFLPA game, then suddenly he had all these agents reaching out to him. And the original one who said, I'll be your agent, but I won't pay, then all of a sudden, oh, okay, I'll pay. Because
came back. Right,
then he realized, other guys want him.
Right. So, yeah, after I played in that game and people saw that, he can play with the big dogs, then a ton of agents were DMing me, calling me, emailing me, and they all were like, hey, we love you. Like, we want to sign you. And I kind of like, well, what were you 2 weeks ago when I needed an agent? So I signed with Priority Sports. Kyle Dolan, shout out to him. Love him. Dude did so much for me. So I signed with them, and him and John talked, and probably my agent Kyle told him if Trey runs, what was it, a 4.7? I was like, if Trey runs a 4.7, he won't get a shot in the NFL. Like so it was like, I couldn't do that. Like if I ran a 4.7, that was the end of my football career. It was the end of me playing football. So I've been playing football since I was 7. But if I ran a 4.7, that was it. So I'm training my butt off every day, driving an hour to go train. She's just nannying, so we ain't really got too much money. So she putting all her faith that I'm gonna make it. And so I'm training. Pro Day comes. And mind you, Pro Day was 2 days after our wedding too. So
we didn't have a honeymoon.
No, we went straight back to football.
After our wedding, we went home right to sleep because he had to wake up at
6, 5, whatever it was to go train. Had Pro Day coming up.
Yeah.
So Pro Day comes, and I am so.
Oh, mind you, hold on. So then at our wedding, the guests kept being like, oh, so are you going on a honeymoon? No. And like, oh, well, what's Trey's plans now that football's over?
Right.
And I'm saying, well, football's not over for him, hopefully. He's training right now. His Pro Day's this weekend to go to the NFL. And they all were like, oh.
Okay.
Or like, does he have any other plans? Or like, oh, I didn't know he wanted to do that.
Right.
Thinking like, okay, dream big.
I kind of got that my entire life too, cause like every kid says, "Oh, I want to go to the NFL." So like my entire life, like even my parents like, "You need to have a plan B," and I'm like, "Well, my plan B is my plan A. Like I'm all in. Like I don't want to do nothing else. I want to play football." And so like everybody kind of always had to, Trey, what's your backup plan? Football, my backup plan. Like I didn't have one. So
I mean, you had a degree.
I got a degree,
smart,
but I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm a smart individual. Like I graduated with college like a 3.7, but like I was putting my all into making it to the NFL, and I believe in my heart that I could do it. If I went to a smaller school, whatever, I knew I could make it. So Pro Day morning, I am throwing up. I'm so nervous because I know like this is the day, my biggest interview of my life, make or break me. So I'm throwing up I couldn't do nothing. Like I'm so sick. I text my trainer like, dude, I don't know if I can perform today. I'm sick. He's like, no, you're just nervous. And so, which was true. Like I don't think I was sick. I was just so stressed because like all these teams were coming to see me. I think it was like 15 to 20 teams or whatever it was coming to see me. So it's like just the thought of that put so much stress on me. So we get to Pro Day. We're leading up to me running my 40. I was so nervous because I knew like this is the moment. These 4 seconds is gonna determine 17 years of me playing this game. Like 4 seconds. So I get down and my first 40, I false started. So I'm like, gosh, here we go. The dude from the Falcons told me, hey Trey, just relax, just run. So I'm thinking, I wish I could just relax and just run, but.
And I was down there on the field. They didn't let anyone down there besides
it was her
his
and
coach
my mom.
Was nice and let me and Trey's mom and our daughter Naya was down there with and my brother. So it's me, my brother,
basically
our daughter,
who was there for me,
Trey's mom, and then Trey's agent. We were all just sitting on the side recording. So I'll put the clip of him running his 42.
So I run my 40 and as I'm running past, all the scouts like look at each other like, is that right? So I'm thinking it's either it was really fast or really slow. And I walked past my trainer. He's like, you just ran a 4.4. I'm like, no, I didn't. Then he like showed me his clock and he had a 4.46 on there. And I'm like, what? I was trying to what? Like I couldn't believe it. Like all through training, we never ran a 40. And my fastest 40 my entire life was like a 4.7. So when they told me I couldn't run a 4.7, I was like, oh well, that's what you gonna get. But
when you were training, you were running fast.
When I was training, I was running really fast. Like, but we never ran a full 40. The most we ran was 20 yards, and I was moving. So, but I didn't expect a 4.4. So I run again. I think it was like a 4.49. The scouts ended up giving me a 4.5, which I'll put the clip up so you guys can see me.
Yeah,
which
that's
is fast.
The thing about pro days is they don't use the timers for some reason. Right. So nothing's ever official. There's like 10 to 20 scouts who all stopwatch it, and then they average it. So like his agent went and like kind of asked around like what times and came back and was like, ooh. He's like, well, our people are having 4.4s. He's like, he just needed to have a high 4.6. He's like, so they might probably give a 4.5 since that's so unbelievably low. Right. They'll probably do mid 5.5 maybe.
Right. So for people who don't know, I'm a linebacker. Right. I'm a linebacker, and that year at the combine, the fastest 40 was for a linebacker was a hybrid guy. He ran like a 4.43. And he was the fastest guy. He was like a safety type linebacker, if you guys do know what I'm saying. So for me to run it at 2:30, like that's kind of crazy. So I run my 40. I'm feeling good about the day. Like I did what I need to do. So teams, like after the pro day, we chill out. Teams start calling. I got calls from multiple teams. Like scouts coming, hey, we love you. You're on our draft board. But this and that, like we're gonna pick you. Our coaches love you. To stay in contact with us. So I'm thinking I'm getting drafted. Yeah. Like I'm getting drafted. Like I talked to position coaches, head coaches, defensive coordinators. I talked to everybody in different organizations, and so I'm thinking, yeah, I'm getting drafted. Like this is it. Like I'm getting drafted.
We had news stations coming out, and different people interviewing him, talking about this Weber State guy that was projected to get drafted this year.
And like everything was like leading to like, wow, I'm really about to get drafted. I'm gonna hear my name called. Like everything. Like nothing told me otherwise. So
we knew it was probably gonna be late.
I wasn't.
And we were taking what they'd say with kind of a grain of salt of like, okay, we don't know for sure. And like draft can go so many ways to where it's like, we hope to get you, but a lot of things can happen.
Exactly. Like people
but with so many teams calling constantly like that, it was like, it's going to happen somewhere, whether it's later than we hope, like, but something's going to happen.
Right, exactly. So.
Or they were saying it's for sure going to be like priority like the second the draft's over, tons of teams calling.
Right. So draft day gets here. So I knew I wasn't going first round, like that wasn't it. So I didn't even really watch the first round. I don't think we watched the second day either. The third day was my day though. The third day for guys and people who know the NFL draft is the 4th round through the 7th round, and then you can sign after the draft. Right. So I'm thinking the third day is my day. Leading up to the third day that morning, we went out to eat at breakfast place, and the Tennessee Titans coach called me on the phone. Hey Trey, we love you. We got you on our draft board. We taking you today. So I'm like, oh, they just told me on the phone right now that they drafted me. Like today, they told me. So I'm watching the draft, waiting for Tennessee. Every time Tennessee get on the board, oh, this is it. No call. They had 3 picks in the 6th round. I'll never forget. And they drafted a linebacker that was not me. And it was like, but he called me and told me he was going to draft me. Like, why he called me and tell me that if he wasn't going to draft me? Like, he said he was going to draft me. And it happened with so many teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker coach called me every day. Hey, we taking you. We love you, like the way you move. Didn't hear from him. The Houston Texans defensive coordinator coach called me. Hey, I'm in study. He called me on the phone. Hey, step out. I need to talk to you. Hey, I love your film. He told me I'm taking you in the 3rd to 4th round. So I'm like, I'm really getting drafted. Never heard from him. So it got to the point where it's like, why? Like, am I gonna make it? Like, these teams done told me this, and then like I haven't heard anything from them. Yeah. So
there was the obvious point when like it shifted to where Trey wouldn't. He just shut out everyone, and like I would ask him anything, like so, and he's just like, if I knew something, I'd tell you. Like he was like, you were stressed.
Yeah,
obviously.
because I think like
he didn't want to talk
it.
about it. He would just was like, I'm just. And then I think you weren't really. You wanted to not watch the draft, but then you kept checking it because you're like.
Yep.
Teams that had called you were coming up, and like seeing which linebackers had gone, and it just was stressful.
It was so stressful because like I said, I played football since I was 7 years old. So that day, like when teams weren't calling the draft, I was like, this could really be it. Like I could be done with football.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was just like couldn't believe it because like I was told all this good stuff by the scouts and teams are like, you're a guy. We're gonna get you. We're gonna pick you.
So his family had all flown in from St. Louis to be there, and we were having a party that night.
Yeah.
My family, we lived an hour away from my family, and they were gonna come drive up to us and have a party that night for him. And so all day I kept getting like my family's calling, texting me like, oh, so like we're watching the draft, haven't heard anything yet, like asking about the party, what's going on. And at that point Trey's like, I don't think there's gonna be a party, and was like, but I'm like, am I really telling my family like cancel it? He's not getting drafted. And just as it was going on and on, it was just like getting more and more stressful, and having to tell people like, I promise if he signs somewhere like or gets drafted, like you'll know, stop calling me because Trey doesn't want to talk about it. I don't know what's going on. Like it was just so much anxiety and
so much, so much.
Last pick gets drawn.
So the last pick, it was the 255th pick. They call it Mr. Irrelevant because like nobody watches to the very last pick of the draft. And it wasn't me. And at that moment, my heart dropped. It was like, what am I gonna do? Like, where do I go from here? Like, all I wanted to do was play football. Like, why did they lie to me? Why didn't I get drafted? Why didn't no teams call me? Like, I worked my butt off. Why did I not get drafted? And so when that last pick, when it wasn't me, I text my agent like, have you heard anything? He was like, no, man, I haven't. Like, it's been pretty quiet. I'm thinking like, this is really it. Like, I'm not even gonna get signed after the draft. Like, doesn't make sense. Like, all these teams call me and say, hey, we're gonna draft you, and then they not even call to sign me after the draft. Like, what's going on? Like, what? Like, I thought somebody around the league must have been spreading bad rumors about me or something. Like, why? What is it? And so, eventually, the Arizona Cardinals called and was like, hey, we like him. We'll sign him. But we're not going to give them a big signing bonus, which if you're an undrafted free agent, the most I've seen they give an undrafted free agent was like $25,000. But they're like, we're not going to do that for him. We'll give him a little bit. I'm not going to tell how much they gave me, but they said we'll give him a little bit.
I mean, that sounds like it's more than what it was. Like you got like.
Oh, they gave me $1,000. They gave me $1,000
before taxes. Yeah. So you really got like 500.
No, so I got that before taxes. So I think it got down like to like 664, the exact number actually.
He gets signed, but it wasn't even like a happy moment. I was happy, but he he hung up. He just like dropped the phone and didn't really even say anything. And I like just kept waiting. And he was like, "Well, I just signed with the Cardinals." And I was like, "Trey," and like wanted to be happy. And he was like $1,000 signing bonus. Yeah. Like he was just like annoyed.
Very.
And I was like, "Let's go celebrate. Like let's do." And he just.
Didn't like it was supposed to be a happy moment for me. It wasn't supposed to be
like this.
Well, like I felt so much. I guess I don't want to say anger, but so much. It's like I gotta prove everybody wrong. Like I was supposed to be drafted. Like this wasn't supposed to be my path. I mean, which don't tell me. I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful for the opportunity because like believe me, like I know a lot of guys would die for that.
We just knew it was gonna make our situation harder.
My family was dependent on me. Like.
So basically, we did end up calling off the party that night.
Yeah.
Because it just took too long to know, too long in the day to know what was even going on. By that point, it was just like not happening anymore.
All right.
And so we just drove to the mall and got some Arizona Cardinals hats. We were trying to get excited. And I was excited. I was trying to. You were getting more excited as it went on.
That's all I think. Like, okay, well, at least I'm gonna go put on an NFL helmet. Like most kids don't even get to do that.
Right.
But at the same time, though, I was still so angry that I didn't get to hear my name called. I didn't get to see my name flash across the screen. Like, which that doesn't matter. Like, you get to the NFL, you get to the NFL, and then it's just what you do with the opportunity. So I'm blessed. I think it just
slowly, just gradually transferred into that attitude of being down and then being like, either way, I'm gonna make it and stuff. So
yeah. So I don't really want to get into the whole transitioning to Arizona and more. So if you guys do want to hear that, we can do another video on it. So thanks to the Cardinals for giving that pathway into the league. Like, I'm not naive to say like, oh man, I need to deserve more. Like, whatever, I got here. So a lot of people wish they could be here. So I am grateful for that. So I don't want y'all to think I'm not grateful, because I am. But I just wanted so much more, and I still want so much more. But yeah, I signed the Cardinals after the draft.
Now you're going into your year 3.
Now I'm going to year 3 with the Chargers, which is a blessing. Love it out here in LA. So if you guys want to hear how we ended up here in LA, we'll do another video on that. But just comment down below if there's something you want to hear. I didn't want to make this one too long.
This is mostly just talking about the draft.
Talking about the draft and what it's really like behind the scenes. Like, you guys just see the guys getting called on the TV, but you don't see how the teams talk to us and say, hey, we're drafting you, and then don't. So I want you to understand that side of the NFL too. That's why we made this channel, partly to show the reality of what the NFL really is. Like, you see the Odell Beckhams and the high-priced players, and you think that's what every guy in the NFL is, and that's far from the truth. A lot of us are just trying to make it.
Like, I think the biggest thing of why he's so disappointed not getting drafted isn't necessarily, we talked about like the bonus, but like just how much harder going undrafted it is to stay in the NFL. Because if a team spends money, they invest in someone they draft, they wasted a pick on it, it's a lot harder for them to want to cut that guy. And so when you're undrafted, a lot of the teams think of it as kind of like disposable, like, this is a guy we can test out, why not? And see what's up. But like, most like, we're gonna stick with these guys, but like, we'll see. And so he just knew he had so much more to overcome to try to stay in this league, which we're still constantly battling because of that from the beginning. Yeah,
that's it. We'll just talk about the pre-draft process. Give you guys a little insight on that. If you do want to hear more about how we ended up in LA from Arizona and how we ended up in Dallas, like, comment down below and we'll make another video on that whole process and what it's like getting cut in the NFL and all of that, because I've been cut 3 times now. Yeah, 3 times. So if you want to know more about that, let us know. Comment down. Write us on Instagram or Instagram or Twitter. I mean, you can find me on Facebook if you're really that dedicated, but Instagram or Twitter. Write us and let us know if you want to hear more about the whole series of getting to this point.
Have a great day. Follow your dreams. You can go to the NFL. Don't take this as that being undrafted is the worst thing in the world. If you go to a small school, obviously it can still happen. So if you go to a small school, it still can happen. Undrafted, free agent, drafted, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you get in the door, make your name known. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks for watching again, and like I always say, what do you always say?
We love you.
Okay, bye.